Hello and welcome again. This is Robert Schein, Managing Director and Partner at Blanke, Schein Wealth Management. Today is Monday, September 21st of 2020. We have a lot of topics and headlines that are moving markets. Markets are moving today, so let's get right to it, and thanks for watching. So as we start today's trading session, we have markets are down big on all three indices, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P 500, and NASDAQ. In fact, big tech, so the top 100 names on the NASDAQ, are leading this charge lower, and they have been for several weeks now. Now, keep in mind, we've gone the last 6 months with about a 60% rebound, just for rough numbers. So to have the markets pull back about a 5 to 10, 15% is what we're seeing right now, and ultimately consolidating. There's rotation happening within, money being pulled out of big tech, and actually hitting some other indices and sectors of the economy within the market itself. Now, that's not to say that September seasonally and October are not very favorable as it relates to markets, right? So historically speaking, if we look back those months, we have, even without an election, have actually had sort of the most sort of volatility, if you will. We checked the VIX last Friday and it didn't spike very much. And we also want to check when we see, is this a rotation? Is it testing moving averages? Is this going to become something bigger? When we look at Blanke Schein Wealth Management, we take an internal view of the markets as we do. We actually notice that we want to look at the VIX, we want to look at treasury yields, high yield market, if you will, and those spreads, if you will, are still remained intact, which then gives us an indication that this is a rotation and consolidation within, and honestly, just downright being tired, right? But the backdrop is the uncertainty right now. So you have the COVID updates, the second wave potentially in Europe. Those headlines hit over the weekend. So Spain and France are hitting some waves of second 2.0 sort of COVID. So the fear would be not so much how to handle it medically speaking, because they're prepared. I think globally everyone's prepared. In fact, this weekend the United States fell below 29,000 for the first time in terms of hospitalizations across the United States. Collectively, that number has gone down. Okay, week over week, month over month, and day over day. That's the most important for the United States here. But over there, the second wave concern, the medical community is prepared, but the spread, right? The question is, will it then contain, the threat of a second shutdown? And the shutdown would be to the economy. So markets are sort of spooked by that, but not just that. I mean, obviously over the weekend we had a lot of political news. We had a lot of political uncertainty. And we also lost a Chief Justice, which also adds to the great uncertainty that we're seeing in the political backdrop here. But we have COVID-19, unemployment, election 2020, small business relief, the economy and the market. Well, down here, small business relief and unemployment, if you will, Congress needs to act. But what's interesting to find out right now is that Congress is now focused and pivoting towards specifically the Senate as to nomination of a Chief Justice or a Supreme Court Justice to fill Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat, and we lost her on Friday night, and it's a big loss. It's unfortunate, my personal history, if you will, back when I was at University of Arizona, I had the opportunity I worked for the Office of the President of the University of Arizona as an intern, and he would have an annual dinner with Chief Justice William Rehnquist back then. And so I have had the luxury and the opportunity and the great honor of having dinner with Chief Justice William Rehnquist of the Supreme Court, not once but twice. And what was interesting is I've got a signed book by him, and it's all about all the laws but one. He gave me this book, and it's autographed to Robert Schein, and the book itself is interesting because it's real time right now, relevant to what's happening. Let me give you an example. He wrote about the civil liberties and Abraham Lincoln back into wartime, and basically said all the laws but one matter, meaning if we are in a war, then all the constitutional laws get put on hold, and the president ultimately has the opportunity to see and rule as he sees fit. Well, if 2020 is any predictor, this is something that could come, who knows, on election day. It could be ultimately scary how this all plays out, right? In terms of what the news media is reporting as to how this election, right? There's election night that's going to be contested, and it's going to be sort of a big fight, and then it leads all the way back to the Supreme Court right now. And that just got more complicated on Friday night. This is a crazy, crazy world that we're living in. One thing that we can say for For our clients out there or anybody who's watching right now, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we appreciate it because we're providing that guidance in terms of how we manage portfolios through this uncertainty, through the backdrop of uncertainty. In fact, if you look back of all of our daily updates, we've provided some pretty sage advice that has gotten us to this point, and we're going to continue to do so on a go-forward basis. That being said, we also have the portfolio positioning white paper. It is over 14, 15 pages, and it is fantastic for those clients of ours, friends and family, that just send us an email or ask Nyan, send an email to Nyan or anybody on our team, and we're happy to send you a copy. And the copy is about portfolio positioning of the what-if scenario. So how we're thinking about this election 2020, how we're positioning our client portfolios already proactively. That's already been, we started that about a month ago internally in terms of setting up our clients for the volatility, for the election, and that's going to continue to persist, right? But it's interesting to see how this is all playing out right now. But yeah, we're welcoming all the conversations with clients and doing portfolio reviews. But 2020 is not getting any easier from this point forward. It's just going to get more complicated. That uncertainty breeds in the volatility. But I do have a quote I want to bring to the forefront. It was a great quote. So the quote is, lower prices today actually provide us greater opportunities in terms of appreciation for long-dated asset classes and long views on portfolio positioning going forward. So as we see markets pull back and we see 50-day moving averages and 200-day moving averages be tested through this period of uncertainty, and keep in mind, we're going to keep an eye on the 3104. That's the 200-day moving average for the S&P 500 because we're already now below the 50-day moving average. But to have the market pull back another 4 or 5% from where we are to that point for the S&P and all the major indices to test that and then sort of consolidate around there and then move forward wouldn't be unexpected. In fact, that's probably where we're going to find our most opportunities for our clients. As we're positioned for that, we do have cash on the sidelines and we're waiting to deploy it when we see some great bargains, some high quality names on sale that we have been seeing as of lately. That being said, I think that's about all we want to talk about today. Tune in tomorrow. We got more. Again, you want the election edition portfolio positioning. We're happy to do that. We appreciate you watching today, and we'll see you again next time.